So you mean to tell me that the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, spent all of this time while they were looking for the suspect praying that he was not from this country? Huh?
This bad stuff happens. And for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country.
Now, I'm going to let him finish. But what I'm hearing him say is that you were praying that it was someone who was a person of color or someone who migrated here from another country, aka an immigrant, because an overwhelming majority of the population in Utah is white. I don't know. It feels like coded language to me. And why were you praying for that? Why wouldn't you just be praying that the person who was responsible for killing Charlie Kirk was caught? That should have been the only prayer. Demographics and place of birth shouldn't matter. You should have been solely focused on the fact that somebody lost their life and you wanted to get justice for that person. No?
Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here.
No, sir, that is not why. The reason you were praying for that is because you were ready to blame another demographic of people to continue to make yourself and the population that you serve look like they're good people. But the data says otherwise.
Let's be absolutely clear on who unalived Charlie Kirk. He wasn't black. He wasn't Latino. He wasn't Asian. He wasn't a person of color. He wasn't an immigrant. He wasn't trans. He wasn't some outsider the right loves to scapegoat. He was homegrown. He was white. His name was Tyler Robinson, and he came straight out of Utah. He wasn't some radical leftist. He wasn't Antifa. He wasn't a progressive activist. The man was decked out in an American flag t-shirt. That alone tells you everything. Liberals don't dress like that. That's part of the conservative starter kit, straight down the line. And the bullet evidence makes it even clearer. Investigators found an unfired round engraved with the words, "If you're seeing this, you're gay, LMAO." Nobody on the left is out here writing that. This kind of message is pure far-right culture. Juvenile, homophobic, straight out of their playbook. So the idea that the far left is somehow responsible, it falls apart the second you look at the facts. Which brings me back to what I said in one of my most recent posts. The right keeps crying out for vengeance. But vengeance against who exactly? Because this wasn't the left. This wasn't progressives. The evidence points right back at them. So are they going to keep pointing fingers at the liberals even when it makes no sense? Or are they going to finally admit the truth? That this was one of their own. The threat wasn't from the outside. The call came from inside the house.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Dagger here. Thanks for clicking on today's video. I hope this is going to be the last part about this issue because it's going like places and sideways. So I'd shared about how the HBOs are being threatened ever since, a few days ago when Clark lost his life. But then today, because I think of the mass pressure, people asking questions and, being too much on the case, the FBI or the police was really forced to bring out the person and to, re-show who did the act. And it turns out that it is indeed a palmed man, a palmed teen, as they are calling him. I mean, he's not even a teen, he's 22 years old, Robinson, and he's from a white family. And their family is allegedly a conservative one. So it's really crazy that we had someone come on stage and talk about, I hoped and I prayed that someone that did this came from a different state. Well, what does that mean? Different state? Which state in particular? Which state? Or this person, we hoped they came from a different country, probably an immigrant, so they could really push on the pressure. I mean, we've seen them put people in cages, in Algeta, Alcatraz, those places. We've seen them separate and do the most to people. So exactly, they were hoping it's someone that is not part of them. But, karma comes so hard, and it had to be one of them. And they don't know how to spin it, how to change the narrative. Just like I said in the previous videos, it was not fitting their narrative, and that's why they were stalling us. But hey guys, listen to how this person was caught. Yeah, and what people are saying about this. Come back, let me know your thoughts on it.
I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That prayer was not answered the way I hoped for, just because I thought it would make it easier.
What an interesting thing to say. I mean, of all the things to pray for, that's what you prayed for? That it was someone from another state? And what you're not saying out loud is you wish it had been someone from a Democrat state. Or that it had been someone from another country because it would have fit your narrative about immigrants. But your prayers didn't work, which is ironic because we've been saying all along that thoughts and prayers do not work across the board when it comes to gun violence. You can literally see him struggling with accepting that this crime was committed by a young white man. And it's not because it was committed by a young white man, it's because it wasn't committed by someone from another community. Now he doesn't get to spin his narrative and spew his hatred, which they've been doing for the last 48 hours.
Charlie Kirk's death really highlighted something for me, and it's that white individuals empathize heavily with the death of even horrible people just because they look like them, but are somehow able to ignore the constant reality that Black, Indigenous, and people of color are killed all the time. This was highlighted for me when I saw Dean Withers respond on a live by crying to the death of one of the worst people ever, but could somehow not even shed a tear for any Black or Indigenous people who are murdered constantly, and not even to mention the thousands of people in Gaza. Society grieves the loss of white individuals so loudly, but is somehow able to constantly ignore the suffering of Black, Indigenous, and marginalized people. And the reason why is because Charlie Kirk is white, because he's a part of the dominant group, and stuff like this doesn't happen to those people all the time. Which is why there was also so much attention when the CEO was shot or when the white woman was stabbed on a train. And it's because the violence that's constantly perpetuated towards marginalized people starts to feel real to them when it impacts people that look like them. And until your empathy expands past people that just look like you, your politics feel fake. And real change actually comes from centering the voices of those who carry the weight of injustice.
Okay, so the Charlie Kirk suspect has been taken into custody, and we now have a name as well as his age and photos. Alrighty, this is 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. This is an up-close photo of him. Let me make myself smaller so y'all can see. Yep, that's him. And this is an up-close photo of his face. If you remember, they were saying that the suspect was around college age, so they were correct on that. And he does look very similar to the manhunt photos the FBI provided. Trump was on Fox News this morning and did confirm that the alleged shooter was turned in by somebody close to him.
And somebody that was very close to him said, that's him. And essentially went to the father, and went to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic, by the way. And the person was involved with law enforcement, but was a person of faith, a minister. And brought him to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic. And the father convinced the son, this is it. And again, I'm always subject to be corrected, but I'm just giving you, based on what I'm hearing, they'll give you a much more active. I just heard about it 5 minutes before I walked in. As I'm walking in, they said, looking real good. They have the person that they wanted. So,
well, things ain't looking so good for Tyler right now, because Trump has already said that he wants the death penalty as punishment for whoever shot Charlie Kirk.
Not trans, not Muslim, not an immigrant. Father's been in law enforcement, looks like, for years. Looks like he's been exercising the Second Amendment rights since he was a kid. That's a problem. Why is a kid holding a weapon at that age? But okay, let's keep going. And the reality is, in engineering school, lives in Utah. Utah is as conservative as it gets, right? Looks like it's also a Christian family. Everything these people tell me, they want their country to look like. And at the end of the day, if this is the gentleman that allegedly did it, this is who authorities have as the suspect and the person that harmed Charlie Kirk, they have to start asking more questions outside of the fear-mongering they have been selling their audience. They have been selling to their audience. Remember, dude from that other country came out and blamed it on Islam in some way, right? They have to start having a moment of reckoning and really start talking to their audience about what the real problems are, right? If it comes out that this man has some mental challenges he had to go through, let's have conversations about that. We've already seen the pictures, thanks to you guys that are better than the feds, are looking up pictures from when he was a baby, hoisting, carrying a weapon and looking like he knows how to wield it. No wonder he could take that shot from far away. If you see other kids that didn't look like him, whether in this country or in other countries, holding a weapon at 8, 9, 10 years old, you would cry me a river and tell me why that's crazy. There's more to what's going on in this country. There's more to, the class divide, the wealth gap. There's so much more to it than trying to pick pictures of it's everyone else that doesn't look like you. That's the problem.
So this is Tyler Robinson, the gunman who shot Charlie Kirk. His father is a 27-year veteran for the Washington County Sheriff's Department. His father was in law enforcement. His father was the one who called a family friend and informed that his son had confessed to him what he had done. That friend then called the authorities, and then they came and picked Tyler up. The encryptions that he had on the ammunition read, "Hey fascists," with a question mark, "Catch this." Now, they say when this call came in and they went to go pick him up, his father was actually holding him for the authorities. They have not released a booking photo yet, so we're waiting for that mugshot to come out.
Don't worry. His mother will not be questioned about how she raised the thug. The daddy won't be blamed. There will be no other communal indictments that's happened to this white man the way through the black community. Black women will be charged and accused. Hey, how did you raise this thug? Your son that you raised went out and committed gun violence. Who has to answer for this? Hey, the privilege of being seen as an individual is something that people always underestimate because, hey, individually, that was just him. That was just him. That's not seen as a reflection of his ideology or a reflection of who. That was just him. But let it be black or Muslim. Hey, man, this white man hopped on here and said, I'm going to go find a video, as a matter of fact. So another video coming soon, so I want the exact words. But Buddy literally said, I wish there was somebody from another country. I wish it wasn't one of us. Y'all is going and giving death threats to HBCUs because a white man from Utah, a red state, somebody with a father that was a gun enthusiast and a former law enforcement, I believe a sheriff. He did that. And y'all went after HBCUs.
So we are led to believe that a 22-year-old took a shot roughly 2 football fields and pulled that off? No fucking way. Not unless that guy worked at a firing range. That kind of shot is completed by professionals. People who spend hours and hours, days, weeks, months on firing ranges. I've run many firing ranges, and I can tell you that getting those long shots, very difficult with iron sights.
That if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us. That somebody...
You wanted him to be an immigrant. That's what you wanted. You either wanted him to be a or a Mexican immigrant. Y'all was banking on it. Y'all was like, yes, if he could have just been a Mexican, if he could have just been black, we could have get this race war on and popping. Yeah. No race war for you. It was a 22-year-old white kid whose daddy was a Republican pastor and the whole family were Trump supporters.
They caught him, y'all. Police have identified a suspect in the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and he has been identified as Tyler Robinson. So apparently a family member and a roommate reported him after he allegedly confessed to his father, who is apparently a 27-year-old veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Department. His father then secured him and contacted law enforcement, which then led to his arrest. So Tyler comes from a relatively affluent family and resides in a $600,000 6-bedroom home in Washington, Utah, and childhood photos from his mom's Facebook depict him and his family posing with firearms at military-themed events while wearing gear from the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marines, and the NRA. And one image, a child received a build-it-yourself rifle kit as a Christmas gift. I just am saying this to help you understand that he comes from an extremely pro-gun household where there is a weapon present in almost every photo. Now, although Robinson is registered as an MPA, both of his parents are registered Republicans, and he dressed as Donald Trump for Halloween in 2017. So at a press conference, police revealed that the bullet casings recovered from the scene were allegedly inscribed with phrases including, "Hey, fascist, catch, Bella Ciao, and if you're reading this, you are gay, LMAO." That's what it said, okay? Now, Robinson's roommate showed investigators Discord messages where Robinson discussed retrieving a rifle from a drop point, leaving it wrapped in a towel in a bush, and watching the area where it was hidden. The messages also referred to engraving bullets, a scope, and mentioned that the rifle was unique. Additional messages noted that Robinson had changed outfits as well. And apparently, authorities reviewed surveillance footage from Utah Valley University that showed Tyler Robinson arriving on campus Wednesday morning in a Dodge Challenger. He was also seen wearing a plain maroon t-shirt, light colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and a light colored shoes. When investigators encountered him, he was wearing clothes consistent with those seen on the video. So Tyler Robinson was arrested at 11 p.m. last night at his family's home in Washington, Utah, which is more than 260 miles away from the shooting site. Trump has stated that he hopes the shooter receives the death penalty. So just to confirm, the shooter was not black, they were not transgender, and they were not a crazed leftist. Okay, noted.
As you've seen in the video, that is what people had to say, and it's really shaming, I would say, that the thing they expected is not what really happened, and they didn't expect one of them to be the one to have that image. But I mean, we all knew, and they had to be forced to bring that out. And then these people had the audacity to be like, social media is a problem, when yeah, it could be a problem at some point. Some things are not meant to be seen, but because of social media, that's why this case has been forced to move this quick. Because if they were the ones in control of like how to bring out this information and nobody was in control of it, they would still put it in their narrative. But because the pressure has been too much and people were like, there is no way in that red state of Utah a person of color, black person did this, they had to bring out, like they had to work hard and try to solve this issue. The pressure was too much. And this man, this is what he had to say.
Social media is a cancer on our society right now. And I would encourage people to log off, turn off, touch grass, hug a family member, go out and do good in your community. We are not wired as human beings, biologically, historically. We have not evolved in a way that we are capable of processing those types of violent imagery. And by the way, we've seen another one with a gruesome stabbing very recently that went viral. This is not good for us. It is not good to consume.
And yes, he could be right that social media, like I said, could be like an issue, a problem, but they are so used to contouring the narrative that when social media is present, news moves so fast that they cannot even hide anything, and it's like a power control thing. If you look in the comments of this video, people are like, oh, so these people just want us to be in the blind because it's the help of social media and the push. That's why probably this case has been solved so fast. So what does he mean that we should not have or access social media? That's hiding. That's a form of trying to control people and keep them in the blind, just like it's been, in the previous years with the propaganda, with the news, always pushing propaganda on other people. Also, the fact that he was open to say he hoped and prayed that it was another person from another area or another place or an immigrant really speaks volumes on how these people really view other people. They don't see them as anything worth, and everything bad has to come from those people, but never them. So I'm guessing that's why they are so pissed and ashamed. You can see him, he can't even look straight in the cameras to talk to people because he's ashamed that it's one of them and it's a person that looks like him that actually committed this crime, when they always put this picture of violence onto black people especially. But hey, white on white crime, they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to solve it, but they always try to push blame on other groups of people because they never want to take in accountability. And it's nice and amazing for us to see the shame onto them, the silence from them, just like they were trying to threaten black institutions, trying to make it like, oh, now black people are gonna be like somehow violent over this issue. I'm like, what do you mean? It happened in a white state with a white person, with white people. Why involve black people? But hey, the blame has to always go to other people but them. Guys, that is it for me in today's video. Let me know what you think about this whole thing. I mean, the shame on their faces, the silence on their faces, amazing to see. Guys, yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, happy birthday to everybody. Yeah, I received some birthday wishes. Happy birthday. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.